Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2, Episode 1, numero uno. Now, from starters, I have no idea why this episode is even called numero uno. I guess it has to do with the Amelia character, possibly. You know what I'm saying? Because what her story arc is in this episode, but I truly don't know. It could be, but I don't know, because it's kind of like, okay, so here's the thing with Amelia. She is beyond stressed out because she's having to do double duties. She's having to do that TV station, well, she has to do like a lot of stuff at that TV station and fill the slack of Jay Borg and Jane because they're off on vacation. And she also has to have her ranger duties, and it's really clashing with the both. And so that could be what it is, but she has a staff working for her, so it's not like she's doing everything by herself, but she's taking on more responsibilities than she normally does. Now, I gotta say, starting with this whole Netflix thing, now Hasbro still owns the rights to Power Rangers. I think it's a little confusing right now, but they're now airing not on Nickelodeon no more, but now Netflix. And I have to say, it has a slight different vibe to it, a tweaking to it. It looks the camera filter and everything looks a bit darker. Now, it could just because of how my TV is set, but for what I'm trying to see, it looks like it's a bit darker. 'Cause when I watched Power Rangers in the past, and even in the other seasons of on Netflix, it has more of a bright color to it. So maybe it has a different tint to it now that they're on Netflix. I don't know. I gotta say, the CGI is way more impressive than what it was in the past. They're doing some really cool things with the CGI, but then Dino Fury always had pretty good CGI, but now it looks more crisp and more clean and everything. Um, the beginning action scene, the opening action scene, my God, that was cool. I've never seen an action scene like that. You'll see it in like the Sentai in the older stuff, but you never see it here in like the American version. And so kudos to them for like making a very interesting opening scene. I just wish it could have lasted longer. That fight scene was very short, but it was very cool nevertheless. Um the new intro, I'm not feeling the new intro. The new intro feels weird. I don't like seeing two of the Rangers grouped together. I like seeing them individually. The song feels shorter. Some of the cut scenes that they have in there just kind of like out of place and don't feel right. I'm not liking the new intro. As for the actual episode itself, it's okay. It's just your generic Neo Saban, Hasbro, Nickelodeon vibe to it. Um, it's not terrible by no means, but it's not nothing that gets me jumping up and down like it did back in, say, like the Fox Kids or Disney era. Now, I will say the fight scene in the beginning reminded me of the Disney era, so that's really cool. A lot of the fights in this episode are very awesome as well. I watched the first two episodes. I'm only going to be talking about like the first. And so basically, what it is, just like I said before, Amelia is swamped. She has way too much to do. Um, and it's really interfering with her ranger duties as being a superhero, and she has to decide if she's gonna which one she's gonna pick, the new stuff or the ranger thing. Well, of course, it's a no-brainer, and she's gonna pick the ranger stuff. However, um but then Jay Borg and Jane comes back, and so now she's not swamped no more with double duty. It would have been nice to see the entire season go through that, or be about that. But Power Rangers is like episodic and stuff like that. As for Jay Borg and Jane, nothing against the actresses, because I like the actresses, but I'm sick of the humor. I'm sick of the humor. I am sick of the humor in Power Rangers. I am tired of it. I've been tired of it since it came back in the Disney era. The Fox Kids era got away from it, and then Disney brought it back, and Nickelodeon really brought it back. And it's too much. It takes me out when you hear the humor. in this season, in the voices they make and this and that, what they talk about. Like, okay, Amelia needed help from her pop, so she calls him, but he's busy having, and she says this, warts removed. Why did he have to have that removed? Why do they have to talk about his warts? Why? Like, why do we need to hear that in Power Rangers? I tell you why. Because now they're gearing this back again to kids. And once again, the franchise has become like a immature kid type property, which is why non-Power Ranger fans make fun of Power Ranger fans, and they make fun of the adults that are still Power Ranger fans. I remember my cousin asked me, "Do you still watch Power Rangers?" I was very hesitant to like answer. I'm like, "Oh crap, I'm pausing too long. I need to answer." I'm like, "Yeah," but I told her just the truth of it. Like, I watched it back in the day. I stopped around towards the end of the Disney. Or I stopped the beginning of the Nickelodeon era. But then I got back in just to see what's going on, and that's really the truth of it all. I stopped in the beginning of Nick, and once I started seeing certain things pop up on YouTube, I got interested, mainly because of the Dino Charge Purple Ranger, and so I was just like really interested at that time, so I started getting back into it. But when I got back into it, I particularly did not like what Nickelodeon had to offer. Saban, like I said before, has killed the franchise and everything. And even though, see, this is the thing, he sold the company, but he's still an executive producer. He still has his toes dipped in the Power Rangers and what gets to go on in it. Um, because executive producers get to make the calls behind the scenes along with the showrunners, the producer, or not so much the producers, but the showrunners and like the networks and stuff. And you can still see that Saban-ish type feel in like Dino Fury and stuff. You even saw it in Beast Morphers a little bit. And so, like, yeah. So it's quite a shame because the fandom wants more mature stuff. Now, Netflix is going to have a more mature Power Ranger series, and I fear for it because I'm hoping they don't go too mature. Because Netflix can sometimes go off the rails and everything. And so I worry about that. But supposedly it's still going to be the kid-friendly Power Rangers. But that's the thing. I'm tired of it being called kid-friendly. I never looked at Power Rangers as a kid show growing up. I always saw it as like a mature, lighthearted show. And then it started getting darker. And then when I went into Disney, it was still dark, entertaining, but it brought back the humor. It made it lighthearted again. But even though the humor was kind of cringy, it wasn't enough for me to go like, ugh. But now I go, ugh, and I don't like going, ugh, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah. So back with this episode. So she's swamped and all this and that. And the bad guy, well, actually, Ion and Zato, they are searching for their home planet still of Rycon. So that was Soron is doing for them. Now J-Bug and Jane, they are in a hot air balloon traveling around the world because this show feels like it needs humor for some bizarre reason. And so the other Rangers are doing like other Ranger type stuff. So, they the bad guys, Mucus and everything. I gotta say, the CGI got better, but Mucus still looks kind of fake when she splashes and everything. So they need to improve on that. So the baddies, they're like, oh, Void Knight's gone, so let's go in his secret room, which of course has his wife in it and stuff. And so, but Void Knight comes on their computer monitor, so they are like, you're not real and everything, because he's destroyed and stuff. And so, like, all of a sudden, this like monster comes out the computer screen, and I believe his name is Bit Scream. And so like he proves that he's very much real and Void Knight is still very much real, but Void Knight is, as we know, injured and stuff. So they set up a plan, and the Rangers kind of like fall for it. So we get some nice like fighting scenes and everything, and then Harvey, he has a fix-it key, which eventually the monster ends up stealing. Gives the Void Knight, he fixes his suit. So now he's back in action. And the Rangers were deciding at first what to do with his saber. So they set up this um God, I'm forgetting these people's names in here because I'm still new to this series. The Green Ranger, I think her name is Tessa, I believe. I don't know if that's the name of her or the actress. But anyway, I'm just gonna call her Tessa. Tessa realized that her cell phone was glitching out when she was calling her girlfriend. And so like it has this weird computer virus type screen to it. When they was in their headquarters, that same glitching effect happened in like the computer monitor. So she realizes they're being spied on, and they are. Now, I guess you could call it the internet world where the monster is in, that's some nice CGI. So thank you, Netflix, for that. And so they come up with a ruse. So she pretends like, oh, we're gonna destroy like Void Knight's sword and everything, and so they set up something so they can like stop the bad guys in that. But the bad guys get the better hand, and Void Knight is able to get his sword back, and he's able to get it back because Amelia is unable to do what she needs to do to help and everything. So that's when she makes the big decision of like um should she stay a ranger or work in the news industry and everything. So, of course, the Zords come into play. Now, Zato is the only one to be in the cockpit, and he calls on the Cosmic Megazord. Now, the Zords still look kind of fake, so I guess they're still using the Sentai, I guess? I don't know. So I have to say, they show more American footage fighting-wise now than they've ever done before. So I like that and everything. But I still don't like the whole cockpit thing where they stand up and they do each other's moves and stuff like that. That's very cheap. That's very Neo Saban. That's very Nickelodeon. I'm surprised because Hasbro, when they went to Beast Morphers, they decided they was going to do their own thing and create their own new cockpits and create this and that. But then I guess they spent too much money on Beast Morphers and all like, all right, let's dial it back. Let's go the cheap route. And you can tell they're going the cheap route because if you ever collect the lightning figures and stuff, some things are starting to look kind of cheap-ish, especially the morphers. I thought about buying a Dino Fury morpher, but the plastic looks so cheap. I'm just like, nah, I'm good. And let's not forget the Mighty Morphin morpher when they redid that. That looks like cheap plastic. And don't even get me started on like the screw ups of the lightning figure action figures themselves. So yeah, they're going that cheap route and everything, and it's angering the fan base. And I wonder, should the fan base be as angry as it comes with the toys? Because what if Hasbro be like, oh, this ain't good enough for you? We saved your franchise, so screw that. We're going to get rid of it. So I'm afraid they're going to do that. So sometimes complaining can be a good thing because they can fix their mistakes, but sometimes complaining can go too far and it will piss people off. Similar to that of the TV show New York Undercover. And if you don't know about that, research that. And so anyway, he's in the cockpit by himself, and that bugs me because I want to see the other Rangers in the cockpit. They're a team. They're supposed to fight as a team. But of course, he defeats like the monster, and then when she's gonna quit being a news person, then here comes J-Bug, and here comes Jane, and all that silly goofiness and stuff like that. And we get a nice shot of like Void Knight and his wife. I can't wait till she wakes up. I have not watched anything past the second episode. I don't know why I'm taking my time. I could easily binge this like really fast. I think I'm kind of busy. So yeah. So after watching the first two episodes, it's just okay. It's not as cool as Dino Charge or anything like that. It's not as cool as Disney or Fox Kids. It's just what I like to call generic. Um, I don't know. They could so do so much more if they wanted to, but it's almost like they're afraid to go that extra step. They're afraid to cross that mile. And I don't know why. I guess they really, really, really have put their foot in the cement and like, look, this is a kid show, and we're gonna keep it that way, and we can't scare the kids. But if you ever watch Young Justice, Young Justice is more edgy than Power Rangers is, and that's quite a shame. Oh, some more things I wanted to point out. We get to see Void Knight in his humanoid type form and everything. And so, like I said before, I can't wait till his wife like wakes up. Now, the acting has gotten a whole lot better. I'm very pleased by that because one problem I had with the first season is that the acting wasn't always here or there, but now it seems to be there. So that's cool that everybody's fit into their molds, got their grooves, better acquainted with their characters and everything, and the directors are really pushing like a good performance out of them. So kudos to that. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.